So this is my newly acquired Ducati Multistrada. It's a 2005 S model, so it has the Olin suspension and a few carbon fiber trim pieces that are kind of nice. I've ridden it around for a couple of days now. Well, on the weekend, I picked it up on the weekend on Sunday, and I rode it around on Sunday quite a bit. And well, my initial impressions are that it's easily the best bike I've had. I started off on a Ninja 500, then I had a Honda VFR 800. I had a Suzuki Bergman 650 scooter, then I had another VFR 800, and finally an ST 1100. But I guess the biggest shocker on this bike, as far as noticeably better performance than any previous bike I've had, is because I would say number one is the suspension. The Olin suspension is incredible. It's just so stable and absorbs all kinds of bumps. Now I'm not sure if it's just the fact that it's Olin suspension, but also combined with all the travel that this bike's suspension has. It has at least an inch to an inch and a half more than a lot of sports bikes on the front. And same story in the rear. I think it's got like maybe an inch extra travel. So that's obviously going to feel smoother. That combined with the more advanced damping of the Olins makes it feel really smooth and stable. High-speed sweepers in windy conditions. It feels much more stable than any bike I've had before. I think a big part of it is that how open it is from the side. It doesn't have full fairings, and it doesn't have a very tall windshield, and has a fairly open frame, which allows the wind to get through without side loading the bike too much. So in high winds over a mountain pass yesterday, it felt super stable. The other thing that's really nice is the engine. Just having all that low-end torque from a V-twin is very nice. I mean, it almost feels like it doesn't matter what gear you're in for the most part. I think the peak torque on this bike is close to 4,000 RPM, which is very, very low, and it remains fairly high and flat all the way through the red line pretty much, which is over 8,000 RPM. The seating is actually quite comfortable so far. I heard a lot of negatives about the seat, but it seems to fit me well. I haven't taken it on let's say a 100-mile trip yet, but just for the time I've ridden it, I think I would have noticed some discomfort already. My wife liked the rear seat also as far as comfort, so that's good. I was already starting to look at used Corbin seats to add. The bike also feels very lightweight. That's another thing. It's probably the lightest bike I've had. The Ninja 500 maybe was similar weight, but I know the VFR 800 was significantly heavier. The Bergman 650 was heavier. The Honda ST1100 was certainly heavier. So yeah, it feels pretty lightweight. Other things that people complained about, and I bought this bike sight unseen. I had never ridden a Multistrada, so it was basically just based on what I had read online, rewards it had won, just understanding the design and purpose of the bike and how it related with my needs or my desires on what I wanted from a bike. And so I based my decision on those things, and so it was a little bit nerve-wracking, that I was gonna get on the bike and really not like it, but I really do like it so far. So another complaint was the clutch being heavy, and my ST1100's clutch was significantly heavier, I would say, than this bike. And I don't know if something was wrong with the bike, but I didn't think it was out of the ordinary or abnormal. The VFR 800 maybe was a little bit lighter on the clutch. The Ninja 500 certainly was lighter, but I don't find it problematic at all. And I think part of it is I have it set to close to the closest reach. I think it's set on 3, and that probably helps, because when you grab the lever, if your hand is positioned with your fingers partially curled already, then it's going to require less force to activate it. So yeah, if you guys have this bike or a similar Ducati with a supposedly heavy lever, maybe play with bringing the levers closer to the handlebars, and that should help with how much force you're applying to it, or how it feels. Another complaint I read was kind of rough shifting when you downshift, but I really love the transmission. I haven't missed a single shift. It's just very positive and mechanical feeling. I like the transmission. Clutchless upshifts are effortless and flawless so far. So I guess a couple of things or complaints, I guess, would be the mirrors do vibrate. I can't see behind me. They vibrate quite a bit. Now, one thing I read in the manual is that once you set them to the right position, you're supposed to tighten the set screw underneath the mirror to keep them from moving. And I think maybe I can move them pretty easily with my finger, so I think that set screw might be a little bit loose, and I'll tighten that down, and maybe that keeps the mirrors from vibrating so much. You get a sense of what's behind you, but like right now I can see there's a white car behind me, but I can't tell if it's a cop car or just a regular car. It's just a white sedan of some sort because of the vibrations. But vibrations through the handlebars, through the pegs, through the seat are not objectionable at all. I really love the sound of the Termagoni exhaust that's on. Is that right? Termagoni or Termignoni? I don't know. That's on the bike. The exhaust sounds really nice, and the carbon fiber outer shell of it looks really nice. The upright position on this bike is great, and you can really feel like you're able to see over and through traffic, which is important from a safety standpoint. And modulating the clutch in first gear is not that difficult. I thought the dry clutch was going to feel very different and kind of hard to crawl along in a parking lot, and I haven't found that to be the case at all. So yeah, so far I love the bike. We'll see how it goes. The last valve check was done maybe at 21,000 miles or so. So after another couple thousand miles, I'll check the valves. Supposedly after, this bike has 25,000 miles on it, which actually might be a good thing that it's that I'm in the region of mileage where the valves might be pretty stable and clearances won't have to be adjusted much. But we'll see. We'll see if what I was told on previous valve clearances is correct, as far as having been done regularly and etc. And the oil has been changed every 3,000 miles. The last one was done like at 24. So I think like at 27,000 miles, I'm going to change the oil, check the valves, and see where they're at. Now, worn valve guides are another issue with this model bike. So I'll look at that as well when I open up the heads in a couple thousand miles. And I keep wondering if synthetic oil helps with the valve guide issue, but I don't think so. I don't think there's probably no oil at all on the valve guides, or there shouldn't be. It's up at the top, but I don't know. What else about the bike? Well, I don't know. I'll have to see how it feels after a long trip. But for now, I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, it's easily the best bike I've had. Plenty of power.